Finale, man! I can't believe we're already at the finale.
Alright, well, I'm Miss Scarlet Knits. I'll be playing Agnes, the dwarf fighter.
And she's knitting. Look at that. Look at her going to town. She is knitting.
I am Pathfinder, also known as Mordecai, and I play the thief and the rogue in this party. And I often save them when we're in times of perils with massive strikes causing huge damage. And I love to lick my eyebrows. And I'll turn it over to the captain.
Ahoy there, I'm Cap Mayhab, playing Captain Tom Flett, the illustrious diplomat that is attempting to save the island of Omen. But we'll see how that goes tonight. Over to Vance.
Alright, and we will here be playing Vance Longstroke, Songsmith, and Weaver of Tales, and last week we started off still in the living dungeon, and
he's got that
after
southern
clearing out the
gentleman.
remains of that, fighting a few rust monsters, and
Nice
whatnot,
603.
we made our way back to the
Nice.
town of Gastron's Point.
Nice
To
603. I love it.
resupply, re-armor ourselves.
Oh, my
Everybody
leg!
was running around naked, myself excluded, so everybody has to get their armor repaired. And afterwards, we informed everybody about the threats to the island, the Master Sergeant especially, and headed back out to this Horgan village where we managed to find a guide who could take us to the temple area up the mountain to have a look, see at these Froglocks and what they're on about up there. And upon scaling the mountain, we came to discover that the temple was no longer closed as the Sir Horgan had told us it was. Apparently, they had forced themselves out and were amassing, milling about around the temple area, and we have no idea how many are located within the temple. After spying the temple area for a while, the captain got the strange idea that some sort of diplomacy would go a long ways towards recruiting these froglocks to our aid. But in the middle of setting off for this diplomatic jaunt, we managed to spy some smoke rising from the other side of the mountain, and upon closer inspection, the captain and everyone managed to make out the Emerald Queen and several other orc ships in some sort of harbor. They seem to have been building up, amassing some sort of war force there. And after seeing this, we were somewhat confused as to how to proceed. And the captain, again, got this diplomatic idea back into his head, and we stationed ourselves on the other side of the rope bridge leading towards the temple area, and we last left off with the captain waving a white flag going towards the temple in order to persuade these froglocks to join our cause. There we go.
Yeah, that is a very nice recap. That is what exactly happened. And so you guys found out that the Orc Lord, with his banners and flags of flying down there in the makeshift harbor, actually the expanded harbor and beach, and orc-made inlet, there's actually a pretty surmountable force down there. So, Captain, you are at the bridge, and I'm
Before
going
we
to
get started,
Yes,
I'd
Captain.
like to say thank you to Mr. Leopold Kane for believing in us tonight and providing us with a boon. I know you'll
Yes,
be with
thank
me
you, Leopold.
as I journey across this bridge.
he did. He definitely bought you guys a boon, so you guys can thank him.
Captain, would you like to make some sort of final
Estimate
estimate
and wheel before you set off? We never know
what's going to happen once you get amongst those froglocks, friend.
Very
I'll
good
produce
idea,
some paper and an ink pen. Yes, please do remember old Vance in your wheel there, sir. And I hand him the paper.
I'll write.
What do you even have any possessions, Captain?
He doesn't have any
Damn
equipment.
anchor hanging off your backpack. Something of value.
He's got an
The
anchor
harpoon
and a harpoon.
The
That's it.
harpoon and anchor will be given to Wilbur. the massive amount of gems and gold that I have be put towards a memorial in my honor. And
All
any
right.
other possessions that I have are to be distributed to any remaining crew that could possibly still be alive. If no crew remain alive, then Vance, for providing me with this paper, will receive whatever else I have on my body.
Right.
That the Frogloks do not
Including
take.
the care of Wilbur.
Yes. I'll look
Yes.
after Wilbur, Captain. I put my hand on your shoulder, give you a firm squeeze. Be careful, man. We never know what's going to happen.
My
Wilbur,
peg leg is to be buried underneath my memorial.
All right, all right. Off with you now, man. I grow tired of this man.
Point up.
Wilbur's
Point,
just
yes.
kind of chuckling over all of this. He's just shaking his head, chuckling.
Right, don't cry too much.
Sort of
You'll
like this
survive, Wilbur.
this evil Greenwich laugh.
Whoa, Wilbur's a...
He's liking that.
Even the captain on the outs now, right? What the world?
And before I walk up these steps, I simply turn around and give a hearty salute to my companions here, and I'm on my way.
So as you're walking across the bridge, you can hear sort of like a like a horn going off, and you can start to see that the Frogloks are scampering around down there. And as you're starting to move across, Captain, you have in your presence, as what you can see, several Frogloks with their tridents and their spears in an outward way pointed towards you.
I
And
cannot select my token, by the way.
You cannot move your
You can
token?
see tokens.
What is
Let
going
me
on?
zoom out.
Just the captain. I can move Wilbur, but
This is weird. Ever since I transitioned everything to the new games, it seems like everything is kind of
I got it now. I can move now.
but yeah, because you're selected and everything. I have you, Mordecai. You should be able to. Vance, you should be able to. I don't know. It's just
I
weird.
see things now.
What I have to do is, I guess it just kind of glitched out because I had to unselect you, save it, and then select you again, and then it kind of just took. So, all right,
Nice
Captain.
round, Dave.
When I see them all, amassing their armies, I say, I have my white flag raised high above my head and say,
Hobbling over. Okay.
in as best as I can, it'll be straight Sahalwyn, but in as best as I can to try to interpret for them, I'll say, mighty warriors of the Froglok people, I am Captain Tom. I come to speak with you about the island of Omen.
As these two Frogloks, they do approach you with their spears out, and also behind them you can see that there are several more that's in the presence of the first two. Now, what happens is one of them turns to the one on the right-hand side, on your right-hand side, literally turns to the other Froglok, and you can actually understand this in this Sahwa language. He actually, you can hear him say, he speaks our language. So they have their spears out. They ask you who you are, why are you here at our temple, why are you on our island?
I am Captain Tom Flint, and I am on your island because I have heard of a threat to the people of Omen. I have
The only threat that is on this island, and he says, yes, man, the only threat on this island, man, is the threat of the fishmen. Where do you come from in this equation?
I am completely unaligned. I come from a far away, from the mainland. I come from Horizon, and I was sent here by the Archmage himself to investigate this island, and I'll tell you why.
The Archmage, as in the wizard?
No,
Are you talking
no.
about the wizard man? and then
No,
they really
I-
start to. It seems like they're starting to kind of. And you can see that they have these atlatl type of apparatuses on their spears too, and it looks like they're fixing to flick them your way. And and as soon as
Listen.
you say wizard and archmage, Yaman, Yaman.
I and the Archmage are fierce enemies of the wizard. We are here.
Where is
because
this wizard man?
The wizard is the person who imprisoned you in the first place many ages ago.
Ah, yes, man. He 13,000 years, 14,000 years we've been in our temple.
And this wizard has since died, but he has created for himself a foul being of undeath. He still lives on in some foul manner and seeks to destroy this island.
It's
and
perfect,
finish
isn't
what he
it,
started.
Arkin?
He seeks
Perfect.
to kill all of the Froglok people.
No,
And
man. He
the-
no be killing no one but himself.
Myself and the Archmage are fighting against him. And right now, I don't know if you know this, but there is an army on the beaches just north of your temple. We just saw them, a mighty army coming to fight you.
There's no orc on our island, man. No way.
I will show you. I will show you. They are here. I mean, you look at me. I have no weapons drawn. I am a mere man.
Why you
against
have
the
one leg,
civilization.
man? Why you have piece of wood for leg, man?
It contains my power.
What happened, man? Was that a fight?
It is a long story, but when I was sailing the Midland Sea years ago, a creature came up from the depths and devoured my leg as I tried to save one of my men. And ever since then, I've been sailing the seas, trying to track down that creature and reclaim what is mine. Because he took a piece of me with him that day that has not been replaced.
Yo,
I
man,
assume the
we.
captain's still in earshot, right?
Oh, he's definitely within earshot. Yeah, he's yelling. He's speaking some blah, 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 blah. It sounds something native for sure. Sort of like what the Sahuagin speak.
Okay, alright.
It sounds like he is actually speaking Sahuagin. Well, Sahua.
I would take you or your leader or whoever and show them that there is a threat here on this island. And if we do not fight them, I fear that they may try to destroy this temple and try to take over this island and give it to the wizard.
Why don't you give me a seeing that you are pretty you are a persuasive type of seafaring captain. Let's see how you persuade these Frogloks.
Come on, Cap.
And now, as this large number of Froglocks come up behind the original two guards that greet you, they too also have spears drawn. Thank you very much, X Lucky. They all draw their spears, and it looks like they're starting to come closer, Tom. Now, the one in front comes out and sees the white flag. He tells you that you will be taken to their leader. You will speak to Igorf. And Igorf is spelled Y-G-G-O-R-F. Y-G-G-O-R-F. King Igorf. You man, you come talk to King Igorf. He tell you your fate. Somebody
It would
will
be an
die.
What?
Your friends come too. Do not fight. And then you can see behind you, up on the ledges, there are many more Froglocks behind you. So there's probably surrounding you 60 to 75 Froglocks. Behind you,
Whoa.
in front of you, starting to appear now on the ramparts, up on the top of the ramparts here. So basically, they're telling you to come to the temple and speak to the king.
I'll turn around and say, ahoy there, mates. Negotiations are
Ahoy
going
there.
really, really well. We need
As
to
he's
go-
got 12 spears pointed at him, and a bunch of
Yeah.
other Froglocks with bows and,
Listen.
spears pointed towards you. It's going
Don't
good, Captain.
mind- Don't mind the spears. It's their way of showing that they trust me. Now we need to go and speak with King Igor. And by we, I mean I, but you need to come too or they're going to kill us.
Hello, my name is King Igorf the Frog. I'm just kidding.
Captain. Are you most certain they're not going to kill us just as soon as we walk across this damn bridge, man?
No, but I am certain that if we do not walk across this bridge, they'll kill us where we stand. So, we've got
We
to
can
go in
always
there.
just cut the damn bridge, Captain. Hurry up. Hobble on back across. I don't like the looks of these fellows.
We have no choice. The orcs will overrun the island if the Froglocks don't help us.
You keep talking about these orcs, weird human. You must come talk to our king, King Igorf.
I've put my weapons away. I have no weapons out, but I am going to walk across with my spyglass in my hand.
I wanted the root beer, so I got a root beer.
Whoa.
Whoa, root beer. Root beer float? What's going on?
Very well, Captain. I'll trust in your parlay that you had with these fellows, but I don't feel quite comfortable about all this. Come along, Wilbur. Guard me.
Weber seems a little reluctant, but nonetheless he does. So, alright, so you guys are taken as captives, and they're roughing you around pretty hard. They're pushing you around. I mean, you stumble a couple times for it. I mean, nobody falls, nothing like that, but you're all being taken. Killian, everyone. Killian's not looking too good either. He hasn't. It seems like the White Ghost Shivers has really started to really settle into his bones. I mean, he is ghostly pale. Everybody else is feeling fine, though. Now, as you get taken to the temple, there is a sort of like a center pyramid. Now, the center pyramid, where you had actually seen that there was the sacrificial altar. Now, this altar moves, and there is a stairwell that descends down. And you start to, and you're being escorted with a massive group of, this is a very large group of Froglocks. And as soon as you go into this temple, it just reeks. It is the outside of this temple. The architecture is beautiful. There are frogs of statues everywhere. There's frogs. There's just small frogs hopping everywhere. There's pools with tadpoles in them. It really seems like since the Froglok have gotten out of this temple that's been locked for all these years, they've actually really gotten out in a hurry. There's several in the courtyard. There's several, probably about a dozen buildings or so, and so you're starting to be escorted down inside of this temple, and you go down. You probably travel, I would say, probably a couple hundred yards down. So you come to this chamber, a very large pillared chamber, and it is of a very beautiful quality. It compared to the rest of the area that you've been in and the rest of the interior of this temple, this place seems to be untouched. And there is a very large throne on the other side of this long chamber. The pillars and the reflective floor, all kinds of statues of sort of like what appear to actually be Naga, a once serpent people, and then you can see as you're starting to walk closer to the crown, you can see that there are other statues that are carved that look like each statue is looking more and more like frogs, like the Froglok. So you can see how the race is actually, evolved from serpent-like to, a bipedal Froglok. So,
Is there any indication in here of some sort of... I mean, deities are different in 13th Age, but is there any indication of something that they might worship other than the king, or...
absolutely.
Or is that...
Oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. You can see iconage all over the place of a much larger frog. So I would actually like to have everyone do. Actually, I'm gonna give me a wisdom check, but I'm gonna do a religion check with Killian here.
Okay. A wisdom check, then. Alright. Let me see where that's at.
Yep, I had a 19.
Would this be nautical wisdom or just base wisdom?
It is not nautical wisdom, unfortunately, Captain Tom. So Vance, you can definitely tell that this is religious, but with Killian there, Killian tells you as he's kind of stumbling along, and he actually goes down on a knee at one point, and you guys help him back up, and he tells you that this is an old that he's read about in books, scrolls, and text. This is of an ancient an ancient god that is called Tibbir, Tibbir. And this is
God called Tibbir. Do
yes,
I remember anything about
Tibbir. The only thing you know that there is a god for Frogloks, because you also know that the Frogloks, they dwell in the Fangs. That's north of Omen, on the other coastal mainland of the Dragon Empire, across the Midland Sea. Now you know that they worship a deity, and it is a frog type of god, but you're just not too sure. And this Tibbir, this god called Tibbir, he's actually a frog. He's not a bipedal type of Froglok. What the Frogloks represent, and as a physical appearance, he is actually a massive, just Jabba the Hutt type of frog. And that's where you see all these statues.
And offer some sort of obeisance before the icon of the frog god, show some
The frog
show
god.
of respect,
So as you make your way down the chamber, the Frogloks, they see that, and you get a couple snarks and a couple laughs. But you get to the end of the chamber, and there's about a 10-foot tall platform that very nice steps leading up to it, and there is a very large Froglok that's sitting on the throne. And this throne is not like your typical throne. This throne is about twice as wide as the average throne. And when this Froglok stands up, I mean, he towers above the rest. I mean, he's decorated with all kinds of trinkets and bones and pieces of turtle shell, and he has a staff. And he says, "Yo, man, you are in my chamber. You are in my presence. You will bow before me. I am the living god of the Frogloks." And behind you, all of the Frogloks, they basically knock your knees out, and you all go down to your knees. And he tells you, "You will bow while you are in my presence."
Alright, I was bowing anyway, fellow. No need for the rough stuff, and I get down on my knees.
You seem like you're going to say something, man. Say it.
Mighty god of the Froglok, I come.
Yeah, man.
I come with respect and admiration for you. I have heard great tales of your many deeds, and I come to offer you offer you warning of something that I have seen that has given me great fear, and I did not want you to be unaware of this danger.
And
I
what
would
does
not be
danger
here.
be, man?
I call
Sorry.
him not midget.
The danger
I would
is
not be here.
the danger is us taking our land back, our island back, man. That'd be the only danger here, man.
That is it. That's why I'm here.
Danger for you, not us.
But yes, that's what I thought too. When I got here on the island, I must admit, I thought that I was here to prevent the danger of you taking over the island. But when I got here, I realized that there is a far greater danger. The wizard who locked you in this temple
You can see him starting to infuriate.
thousands of years ago, who left you here to rot. This man has sent an army to finish what he started. An army of orcs. He's aligned himself with the orc king, and they are on your beaches even now. And I have been sent here by an enemy of the wizard, the fiercest enemy of the wizard there is, the archmage. And I am here to help you combat the wizard and his forces.
Man, you so crazy. We will take care of the orcs ourselves if we see them as a threat. Just a couple mere orc do not scare us, man. They just do
This-
not scare us.
I
How
know.
about several hundred?
For a proud warrior race like yourselves, a few orcs are meaningless. But what I have seen is a full armada, many ships with cannons, sending reinforcements. On the beaches right now, there are hundreds of orc warriors, and they are just outside of your temple. And I believe that they plan, once they have their forces amassed, march up this mountain, take this temple, and take the entire island.
Who you here with, man? Just not too far? You come over on a boat? How you get to Omen? How you get to my island?
I am a captain. I sail.
There
in
must
the
be
Midlands.
others like you here.
There are only a very few people. We have a small settlement that we trade goods with on this island. And the reason they are here is to keep the wizard from reclaiming the island. And the only reason we know that there are orcs on the island now is because of our small settlement. But we mean no harm to the people here. We don't want the island. We don't want to take over. This is your island. We are just here to keep
Yeah,
the
man,
wizard
this
from
is our
taking
island.
it.
Where are these orcs now?
They are just north of the temple, over north, I guess, northeast of the temple.
Mordecai sent me a tell. I'm going to look at the king and lick my eyebrows.
Right? I see this, I suppose.
Oh yeah, you hear
Now,
him slurping
Mordecai, I
away.
don't think that's going to further things in our favor.
No,
No.
I mean,
But
They
they
can-
are frogs after all, though. Yes.
Man, I tell
say,
you,
hey,
we have been in this temple for many, many, many years. We want our island back. If there is a threat of orc, we will help take care of the problem, man. But you have to leave the island. If you do not leave the island, you will end up like the orcs.
Yes, yes. I fully plan to leave the island, but we've got to get rid of these orcs first. You see, it's become more personal than you realize. They have taken my ship, and they killed my crew, and they're outfitting it with shoddy orc craftsmanship, tearing down my mast. And as soon as we dispatch every last orc, I will take back my ship and return to the Midland Sea. And this is your, in fact, not only will we leave, but all the Sahagwan, we will make them leave as well. This will be your island, and you will not have to fight anyone else besides these orcs of the wizard.
he consults a couple other Froglocks that are standing at his side, and these are frog